Today's topic is A Visit to Cambridge of literature book Honeydew. A Visit to Cambridge is a story of two handicapped people, but they are extraordinary because they hadn't give up in their life. A Visit to Cambridge, summary is over here. A story of meeting between two extraordinary people. They are both brilliant and full of intellect. They are what people call disabled. However, the story calls them two people who are differently abled. That means that they are not disabled. They are not seeking for anybody's sympathy, but they are differently abled. Stephen Hawking is one of the greatest scientists of our time. He suffers from a form of paralysis that confines him to a wheelchair and allows him to speak only by punching buttons on a computer, which speaks for him in a machine like voice. Another character, Firdaus Kanga, who is a writer and journalist, who lives and works in Mumbai. He was born with brittle bones that tended to break easily when he was a child. He suffered a lot of fractures in his early childhood. Now, as the story begins, as I have told you, there are two main characters, Firdaus Kanga, whose introduction we have already got, and the next character is Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking is one of the greatest scientists of his time. Now, as the story onset, A Visit to Cambridge by Firdaus Kanga begins with him taking a walking tour through Cambridge. During this tour, his guide mentioned that famous astrophysicist Stephen Hawking lived there. The author had completely forgotten about this, and just as his tour ended, he went to a phone booth to contact him. He was able to talk to Hawking's assistant and explain to him that he had come all the way from India on the wheelchair. The assistant allowed him half an hour with the scientist from 3:30 to 4. The writer mentions how people often ask differently abled people to cheer up as if they have a courage account that are too lazy to draw a check on. He feels that only thing that can make you stronger is seeing someone like you achieve something. Stephen Hawking told him that he hadn't been brave and this was the only choice he had. Although the writer is of a conflicting view, the author was guilty of making the scientist speak, as it took a lot of effort for him to tap on his little switch and find words in his computer. Now, this was the only way through which Stephen Hawking used to communicate. And not only this, he had written a book also. The book name was A Brief History of Time. The writer then gives a description of Hawking's as to how he looks like a three-dimensional version of all his photographs in magazines. First impression of his appearance is shocking, but he is the embodiment of inner glow in a man. He made the author believe in the eternal soul that everything else is just accessory. Hawking thinks there is nothing good about being disabled, but the writer is of the view that it makes you realize the existence of kindness in the world. Based upon this, the question is also there in your textbook that what endeared the scientist to writer so that he said he was looking at one of the most beautiful men in the world. Answer to it, the way the author emphasized with the scientist made him feel happy from inside. The fact that author was a little bit like Stephen Hawking also helped in matching their wavelengths. As a result, there was a smile on Hawking's face. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder is a very old saying. The definition of beauty varies as per the situation and subject. The weak, pale, disabled scientist may not look beautiful at all through conventional angles, but the radiance of intelligence and the self-satisfaction of attaining so much in terms of discovery makes Stephen Hawking one of the most beautiful men in the world. Further upon being asked in the story, If he inspires a lot of people, makes it any better for Stephen? He answers that it doesn't. For someone whose body is like a claustrophobic room, that means congested room, whose walls are getting narrower day by day, it doesn't make much of the difference. The only advice Stephen had to offer to differently abled people is only to focus on things they are good at. That means only try those things in which you believe you can attain the success to gain the confidence in your life. The half an hour came to an end, and it was a time for the writer to leave, but the scientist made him stay. He offered the writer tea and a tour of his garden. His garden was as big as a park, but Stephen covered every inch of it in his wheelchair, while the writer dodged himself out of his way. Now, when the story is about to end, they didn't talk much in the sun. When it was a time to leave, the author touched his shoulder and wheeled out. As he looked back, he could see an embodiment of his bravest self, the one he was moving toward and the one he had believed in for so many years. So the story ended over here. In the story, Stephen Hawking's body has been compared with the lantern, and the questions are there on based upon it. As the writer Firdaus Kanga praised Stephen Hawking and his body also, that his body has become so translucent that his inner glow is visible outwardly, as the lamp is visible from the lantern. So, moreover, the story is very well consisting of lot of confidence, being disabled also. Stephen Hawking's mind was active with many thoughts that he wanted to express. However, his thoughts came out in phrases on small lines without feeling or emotions. Stephen Hawking's anguish was his ability to do something. Here's the story ended. Hope you have understood the story well. Thank you very much.